Welcome to the SCCA Runoffs presented by Sim Lab here at Virginia International Raceway. It is going to be the first race of 8 hours of racing today with the Formula Vee here at Alton, Virginia. This is going to be fantastic, and I cannot wait for it. I'm Joe Peak, and here is Larry McLeod with us as well today, getting ready to present this fantastic first start. Larry, I cannot wait to watch what we have in store, because as you and I were talking just before we came live, some of the lesser powered cars here on iRacing put on some of the best racing on the circuit.
Oh, they really do. They're certainly some of my favorites. A lot of wheel-to-wheel, a lot of drafting, and I think the track is just fantastic. It's obviously where the real-world runoffs were held, but, you know, it's also considered heaven on earth. As was quoted many years ago, it is an absolutely beautiful place to race, and I think we're going to see some of the best racing on the sim today.
No doubt about that. And as we get ready to head down there to see these cars, we're going to check busy out there today. Some of the best in the Formula Vee racing here at VIR. Coming up to one of the trickiest corners in racing, if you ask me, the roller coaster. One of the toughest places to pass, but one of the more popular places to get a pass in. Hopefully a little easier with that slipstream, Larry, but what's it like going side by side here up over this blind crest?
Oh, you pretty much have to get it sorted out. You can try staying side by side, but basically the driver who's going to be at the inside at the crest of the hill down the roller coaster is going to have the advantage even on the last lap. So the critical piece will be to maybe not be on the last lap in the lead coming out of Oak Tree, but to do a leapfrog or two and get to the inside, coming down the right-hand side of the track to enter this section, the roller coaster. That's your best chance. You might even have a chance to try and make a pass coming off a hog pen, but you better be super clean to do it. It could even be 3 wide coming in there on the last lap. So it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. You can see the realism of these cars. Little puffs of smoke coming out the back. That's what Vees do. That's the real deal.
Just a little bit of oil burning in there in those engines. And looks like the pace car is in. Simon Ball will have control of the field, waiting for the green flag. And there we go. It is the first race of 8 today. Simon Ball with an excellent start. We immediately go 3 wide, coming down into the first turn for second place. It looks like that is going to be short, managing to get to the inside. In fact, he has sights set on first place as he goes inside of Simon Ball down into the horseshoe. And it looks like he is going to be able to take that place, Larry.
He did. I'm still watching lots of 3 wide going on back in the pack as they start to settle things out just a bit heading through turn 3 of that NASCAR bend. But you can see just 2 by 2 all the way through here. Anywhere back, the top 3 are sorted, but the next 3 rows are still waiting it out and still even through left field. They're still side by side using the curb on the left. They need to get it straightened out here or they're going to lose momentum. And you can see Delgado now on the inside trying to hold his momentum. And he's trying to keep that spot and make sure that they don't lose the draft going down the short chute here.
That's Ronenberg just in front of him. This is for 6th position. They've got, oh my goodness, look at behind them. Are they going to go 2 wide coming up through the snake here, through the climbing S's rather? And some of them are indeed. Most are going to get sorted out. But as they start to go wheel to wheel, it is flat out up here. It's flat out up through South Bend, but certainly not into Oak Tree. It is Patry who is now leading ahead of Short. Ball has fallen all the way down into 3rd position and almost 3 wide in the mid-pack here into this double apexer.
Oh, that's really treacherous. There's not a lot of room out there with the old scan here at VIR to do anything more than about single wide. I'm surprised this 2 wide is working. You just don't want to lose the draft here. You can see little gaps start to show up as they grab that 4th gear shift now, starting to head up this hill. But the draft is worth several miles an hour. Even out in front, you can see they're starting to pair up and try to make these push passes. If you're super careful, yes, you can bump draft in these cars, but the lead car better not turn a wheel. Look at them 3 wide down the back straight as they approach the roller coaster.
Alex Ho is going to try and get in and amongst them, and he's going to outbreak them into the roller coaster, still going wheel to wheel amongst Overstreet and Ball, almost banging wheels actually there as Megan has to back out of it as they now come around Hogpen. Is everybody going to be able to keep the wheels on the track here? And it looks like the top runners are able to keep it in the paved stuff. So as they complete lap 1, your order across the line going to be Ho, Short, and Patry, but I don't think it's going to be that way into the first corner.
It may not. They're dicing earlier. These guys are not looking to work together at all. You see a little bit of that here with you know, some of these guys may be pairing up, but they're going to have to try and settle things down to long race. And you'd like to, if you can, in the front three, get a breakaway. Look at this 3 wide now in the middle of the pack here.
Yeah, this is the 17 of Presley, who is in amongst them. McKee on his outside. He gets a better run coming up the NASCAR bend. That's going to give him the inside into this left-hander curve braking zone into here. But McKee's got a little problem with his connection, it appears, as they now finally get single file once again into the left hook.
Yeah, they're finally single file. This is what you need to be doing. The problem is the draft is intoxicating. You'll come off of these runs here through the lower snake, and you'll start to get a run, and you'll think you can go side by side to the upper S's, but sometimes you just have to lift back off and not take it. Or if you do get a great run, the car in front's got to recognize that. They got to let you by, and you can see right here, they're trying to figure it out, but they're going to go too wide through the climbing S's.
Owen Short, and Short's going to come out ahead as they head towards South Bend. And we look at 5th place in the meantime. This is Delgado once again picking places off. Remember, he was 7th a little bit earlier when we were watching on board with him. That's our pole sitter. Just in front of him, Simon Ball. Let's see who gets the run. Coming along Madison Avenue. Once again, the slipstream battles are going to erupt all over again.
I don't see any breakaway happening yet as these guys are continuing to fight, even at the front, not working together, which means you have a train all the way back. At this point, you could be in 15th place and have a chance in this race because there are no gaps. As long as you continue to be clean on your braking zone and get good drafts, you're going to be in this mix right up to the end. But at some point, someone's day is going to turn to tears with all of this 2 and 3 wide.
That's Petrie in the red car. I almost think it was bump drafting there, which is inadvisable in these cars. They do not have the makeup on the nose and the gearbox for that sort of thing. I've seen drivers try it before, and like you said, it tends to end in tears. So let's hope that they have a lot of care there during this race if they're going to attempt moves like that. Meanwhile, it goes once again along the front stretch with everybody fanning out, trying to find a position. Ho leads. Nicholas Short going to be in second, but not for long as Petrie is able to get to the outside. And here we go, 3 wide once again down to the first corner.
Look at that. He could not turn down the draft. Had to take it, was able to get on by, and he'll lead now. Ball will lead into 1 on this lap, but won't last long the way this draft works.
Ooh, thought somebody maybe made a little contact there. I think for around 4th place. That was Short having to take big evasive action. And Ronenberg's going to come out ahead amongst them. We're only 5 minutes into this race. This has been incredible. There you see the battle for 13th a little farther down. McKee in and amongst them. Everybody just is an absolute mix-up back here. Looks like Keegan Scott mixed in amongst there as Albert is going to be able to get ahead of him into 10th place in that battle for the 13th spot. But up at the front, Simon Ball once again is going to be battling with Petrie, and the 3 car has the momentum this time. Simon Ball now sees the likes of Alexander Ho try to follow that slipstream, but can't quite use it up through the climbing S's. Then you've got Ronenberg in and amongst these top 4.
Yeah, this front 4 is just relentless. They are not even trying to work together. Everyone wants to lead every corner. This is just crazy, and still even taking multiple lines through Oak Tree to try and get that great exit onto that Madison Avenue back straight. But at this point, you look at that. The top 10 are essentially nose to tail. Can't put a piece of paper between any of them. Everyone wants to lead the entire way. Right now it's Petrie, but here comes Ball on the outside. Maybe with a little bit of a draft push coming from Ronenberg.
Talked about the specialist aspect. I got to think all these drivers probably familiar with how this racing goes, trying to leave that little margin for error in there just so that they can get through with it, splitting the middle. Alex Ho up to the lead, and as they break it, finally erupts. We've got 2 cars, 3 cars, 4 of them off the road. Petrie is able to keep it finally back onto the black stuff, but it looks like Ronenberg was the biggest victim as he falls backwards.
Oh, that was just a little bit too close quarters there with too many cars, too many times. Ho was able to get on through, now with a gap of over a second and a half. But as you mentioned, Ronenberg and the others, not so well. Petrie was able to, for a moment, recover. Looks like he's in 7th, so he's still 3.5 seconds back. Not totally out of this, but the rest of those guys look like they are back pretty far. Nick Short managed to only lose a little bit of a gap. He's still alive. Hopefully no damage on his cars. There was some contact, but that certainly puts now separation between Ho and the pack of Short and Tula, Albert, and Overstreet behind him.
Well, unfortunately, you could only have the monkeys jumping on the bed so long before somebody bumps that proverbial head, and it seems a few have fallen victim. We do still have everyone running currently since the start of this race, so all 40 are still out there. I think Jacob Klein started from pit lane, but that's it. Nobody else has visited quite yet to take that spare car, and they're all still circulating. But now Ho with that 1.2, 1.3 second gap. Is that enough, Larry, to break away?
It's really not. The draft goes about 1 second back, and with the pack behind him, all with drafting buddies, all they have to do is do the leapfrog. You can leapfrog 3 times easily around here. 2 is super easy. Essentially, the Madison Avenue straight, you do a leapfrog, do it again on the front straight. And if you do it a 3rd time on the short straight under the bridge, you can gain more than a second a lap. So it should be not very long before Short, Albert, Tola, Overstreet are able to maybe work their way back up and make this a multi-car pack.
You can see them, and I can hear them chat on the radio. They are talking about leapfrog.
Ho ran wide, a little bit of dirt there coming off the exit. Remember, this doesn't have the new Scan extra wide pavement out there. This is the classic one, so you can't run that wide. And look at that gap, already down under a second to Short, Albert, and Tola.
Double whammy, going off track at a critical corner of the track, and then everybody behind already communicating about working together, leapfrogging to try and work their way forward. Albert and Short side by side. They're going to have to get this sorted out soon. Who's going to give up the ghost? Looks like it's going to be Short, maybe. No, he's going to carry on wheel to wheel. This is not what they need in the moment, as you see the number 2 just cling desperately.
Yeah, to be honest, I think the inside driver should have been given the chance there. Unfortunately for Nick Short, Alex Albert wanted that spot a little bit more, but now they're going to try and pass on the front straight. They have got to work together. These guys were 6/10 behind Alex Ho going into the top of the roller coaster. They've lost a couple of tenths. They've got to do a little better job of coordinating to make sure that Alex doesn't lose it. Otherwise, it's possible they could have another mayhem like we just saw on the last lap. They've got to be super careful to keep it together.
McKee, Scott, Carrington, unfortunately, all 3 tangled in roller coaster as well this last lap, so they found themselves sent backwards from that one. Meanwhile, look at this mess. This is still the fight between Albert, Short, Overstreet, Tullo, White. This is all for essentially second place. They've cut it down to half a second behind Ho as they come through NASCAR Bend.
Yep, they've now closed the gap enough. They sorted things out in turn 1, and you can see how powerful the draft is. Just between 1 and 4, they've taken a couple of tenths out, and by the time they get to Oak Tree, this is going to be nose to tail again.
As they pick up the pace now here on lap 5, and it looks like we got a replay. I think this might be the incident farther back. Yep, that's McKee just getting checked up, and then everyone's racing so close. It almost reminds me of super speedway racing in NASCAR here, Larry, that it's a chain reaction. You're a victim of something else in front of you.
Yeah, there's nowhere to go, and if somebody does check up just a little bit, the 3rd and 4th car can't see it. Next thing you know, you've got all sorts of bump drafting in the wrong place, and it doesn't turn out very well as it did there. And look at this. Like I told you, by the time they get to Oak Tree, it's going to be back to a side-by-side race, and it is, as Alex Albert and Nick Short are on the heels of Alex Ho once again.
So your lead group goes all the way back to 8th position with Kevin Parrish at the tail of the train. So will they calm down at this point now that they've had things slim down a little bit? Not for the lead, apparently, as Albert is going to go around Ho. So the 12 car, now your new leader. And is he going to lose 2 positions as Nicholas Short sizes him up? Ooh, but almost a blocking move there from Alex Albert as they came into the roller coaster.
It's getting awfully heated out there. A lot of blocking, a lot of people really pushing it. They want to lead every corner. To be honest, I've seen enough of this out here. You could be in 8th right now in this this breakaway of 8 cars and still have plenty of opportunity to win this race. We aren't even halfway yet.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, it's still a long ways to go. And switching right back, Ho's going to try and see if he can re-overtake Albert. He's got the momentum, but don't look now. This is going to be Patry up the outside in the red number 3 wide down coming into the horseshoe. Is this going to end in tears as well as he goes the long way around in that bright red Formula V, and high, wide, and handsome, he might actually have it. Look at that. Brilliant stuff from the 3 machine.
I remember he was in that front pack that got caught in a bit of that wreck. He had dropped about 4 seconds back. That's all now gone as he's got the lead going through the NASCAR left. But looks like the 12 Albert just catch a little bit of grass there around NASCAR Bend, but he recovers.
Another spot where in real life they've added a little bit of paved runoff, but it's not there. Albert holding it pointed forward. Lost some time to Patry and is going to have to try and gather that back up. Should be able to get it, I got to think, because Ho has a little bit of a lift through the snake. He's not interested in trying to make it too wide coming through the Climanesses. Nope, never mind. I spoke too soon. Oh, and he actually gets a little bit shoved off into the grass.
Oh, they are still fighting every single corner. They don't want to give up that little bit of momentum. They're just afraid to. And honestly, this is, again, we may be seeing opportunities down the race here of somebody taking themselves out or taking somebody with them, and it's going to leave this down to a whittled down pack. This 8 right now needs to be careful not to get caught in someone else's mayhem.
Out of Oak Tree now. 60 miles an hour up to about 90 to 100. Doesn't sound like a lot, but this is what I was talking about earlier about some of the most exciting racing. I can't fathom, Larry, the nerves that it takes, especially at this level, as we see a dodge to the outside by Alex Ho once again, to be able to keep your composure in this situation.
Yeah, it really does. And for this long, remember, we're not talking about a little 8-lap sprint race. This is a long, almost endurance race out here. And to keep this intensity up is so difficult.
Go! Oh, a little bit of a hit from behind, and Patry gets spun around. Can he get it going in time? No, he's going to lose that slipstream. He is at least going to get the car rolling, but that was a critical moment in the race of Caleb.
Yeah, that's what happens. At close quarters, things are bound to happen. So now we're down to a top 6 breakaway, but I would totally count Patry out of this. He's about 2 seconds back of this pack behind Overstreet. Megan holding up the 7th spot here at the tail end of this train. Patry, though, now has Witt next to him. They could work together to close that gap and make this back into a 9-car battle if they choose.
Look at this. We go side by side now between White and Short. This is for 3rd position. Short on the outside. White going to send it in deep into the corner. That'll give him 3rd place. Short's able to slot back into line before Parrish is able to overtake him. 20 minutes left to go here as we head into NASCAR Bend. You can see how much momentum the cars have to carry through some of these corners compared to quicker cars that are looking at the brakes instead. Here is the replay. Just the tiniest of touches. They're so on edge in this corner, Larry.
It does not take much, and you can see right there, that didn't take much at all. Just that little bit of movement back and forth, and the car in front slowing a little more than the car behind expected. Doesn't take much rub to send him on his spinning. But again, luckily for Patry, he's not out of this yet. Just about 2 seconds back from this pack. You can see him there working with Witt to try and close it up. And the way the front pack has been misbehaving, I think the opportunity is certainly there for Witt and Patry, for Alex Witt and Caleb Patry to get back into this.
And can we give some credit to all the field behind him in that spin? It so easily could have been a much bigger accident, taking out multiple people, but everybody avoided Caleb in that situation. So a huge pat on the back to all the drivers that managed to dodge that. As once again, we hit the back stretch along Madison Avenue. And so are they going to misbehave, as you put it, Larry, or are they going to work together?
We'll see whether or not they're able to work together here as Megan Overstreet trying to just hang on to the back of the draft. She's just going to stay in contention here for this race. Just lurking, just hanging around. She's being the smart one, if you ask me. This is the strategy I would like to do. Just play cool, avoid those wrecks, avoid the spinning Caleb Patry's, for example, and stay in the race and see what happens. These guys up in this middle of this pack, the Albert, Short, and Ho, and these guys are just continuing to push, and they keep finding themselves in these sort of gaps where Ho's got a 1.2 second lead, and now Short and Albert and White have to work together to catch back up again. Never easy, but they've got to figure this out. Oh, there goes another bit of contact.
Sam White off the course in the number 20. He's got his foot in it, and he's going to try and stay up with them, but it looks like he's going to fall back to Caleb and Alex Witt. So now it's become a bit of a 3-car tandem there in that second group. That actually might help them indeed here as they try to catch up to the front of the field, breaking single file for the first time probably the entire race. The front group now leads them into lap 8.
That definitely should help Patry and Witt now to have White in there. To have 3 fast drivers working together can be super fast. You can easily be turning 2 19s around this place with 3 drivers together. And right now the front pack is only turning mid-220, so they should be right back in this in no time. Now less than 2 seconds behind the front 6.
You can see this. This is the group behind Caleb, Sam, and Alex there. So this is being led by Turnbull in the 32. We had a bit of a mix-up here, and I think this is what we're watching into the first turn. And, whoa, big moment, and he gets tipped back forward. Somebody on the outside has to really hold it together, 2 wheels into the grass, and somehow in all that, nobody actually goes fully around.
That's amazing save there. A little bit of help on the recovery there, but pretty awesome save to see these guys just able to hang on. And that's the way these cars are. You go a little bit of drop throttle oversteer. If you don't get back to the gas fast enough, the back end will come around and more contact.
Massive incident. Multiple cars are finding themselves getting spun. And in fact, Michael Berg went airborne, and he's still in it. Look at, he managed to get back on track, and the 27 carries on like nothing happened.
Oh, these cars are durable. They're just built like tanks, which is true in real life. These things are absolutely just rolling bricks down the road. They do take pretty good incident. You can see the suspension members are very solid in these things, so glad to see he's able to recover. But you can see the pack of 3 chasing the pack of 5 up in the front, or the pack of 6 here. They're still trying to work things out. They're not helping each other.
I hope we get a replay of the 27. I'm pretty sure he was 4 wheels in the air there, the way they touched rubber to rubber. But
somebody was definitely looking at the other side of his car.
We just had an incident for Keegan Scott as well, unfortunately, and he gets tipped back forward, but definitely got a pretty big hit here as we come up the front stretch once again back to the main pack, and we're going to take a look at the replay in the meantime of what might be the biggest accident that we've had here in this race.
Oh yeah, that on the inside. I was trying to see what that's. Eric Ronenberg, in fact, who's the one that may have tapped into him. He was on a charge to try and recover in this race, and unfortunately that contact there with Berg is going to send him further back, but looks like both of them are still driving.
Yeah, 2 cars actually getting sent up into the air, and just about 4 wheels completely off the ground. They're not really meant quite for that. These are not rallycross cars, although I'm sure they're fun on those tracks here on iRacing.
It would be a lot of fun. Hey, you know what? It's just a Volkswagen under there, and the Beetles were great little rally cars.
Indeed, exactly. I like your thinking. Meanwhile, at the front, Alex Ho in the number 15 leads the way with Parrish behind him and Short sitting in third. Down to 15 minutes left. We are past the halfway point in this race. Tullo sits in the 4th spot. The top group has been whittled down to 6 now. They're still being chased by the second group of 3 cars, but it's about a 3-second gap currently.
Kind of keeping my eye on that other pack that's trailing out there of Witt, Patry, and White, just to kind of see what kind of lap times. They're not yet working together very well. This front group is able to open the lead, but we're just going to keep an eye on them and see if there is going to be enough time left to make this a 9-car train.
As they come off of Oak Tree once again, there was a little bit of defense from Alex O there in the 15. And maybe just covering himself off. I didn't think Parrish looked like he was making super aggressive moves. Let's see if that changes here in the slipstream instead. Indeed, the 28 going to pull out to the side, and they're going to pull along 2 behind them. So they're going to go Noah's Ark coming up into the roller coaster. Parrish able to pull Short along with him, but Short lifting a little bit early. He concedes and stays in 3rd place.
That's how you're supposed to coordinate, but this is not. You're not supposed to then repass over-under moves going down roller coaster. That's where you start to slow down, as Parrish now thinks he wants to lead going in down here to the lead, and he looks like he's going to have the lead going into Hog Pen.
So there's your leaders on the top, and then that second group that I mentioned earlier between Caleb Patry, Alex Witt, and Sam White. 3 cars battling for 7th position back there, but maybe perhaps not an actual battle. Too wide. This is a battle for the lead here between Ho and Parrish. Once again, Parrish to the inside, down into the horseshoe. And we've seen it pass around the outside before, but not this time. In fact, he's going to lose 2 positions as the 15, maybe even 3 here.
A little bit of a misbraking there for Alex Ho, kind of giving up a couple of spots there to Short. The Tullo looks like he's able to keep Tolan out behind him, but not the cleanest braking zone down there. A little bit of trouble, but in pack racing, all you got to do is stay in it and be ready for the finish. The last lap is going to be bonkers. We'll see if it's going to be 6 cars, 9 cars, or who knows, 2 cars by the time we get there. But this is building to something pretty special.
You talk about the skill of these drivers, and I got to say, some of the iRatings definitely show it. We're talking 5K for Nick Short here in that realm. However, Kevin Parrish, who's just going to lose the lead here, is rated number 28. He's only got just above 20K iRating, but sometimes that can be misleading. It isn't everything, and he's holding his own.
These are definitely some experienced drivers in this car. A lot of them build their iRating by being specialists. Others kind of bounce around, but they're still fast. And you can see some of that here. Some of these guys are absolute specialists. You just watch the way they're working in close quarters, how well they know when the draft works and when not. And the fact that we've only had 2 or 3 little contacts just says how much experience these guys must have in doing this kind of racing every day on the iRacing platform.
And then, of course, we've got more battling here. Back for 18th. Now 3 wide for the lead on the top of your screen as well as Alex Ho split in the middle, and he is going to try and overtake on Parrish. Parrish kind of hanging tough, but he breaks early, finds a slot to get back in second place for now.
Now they're at least getting smart. That's what they need to do, is to just get it sorted out by the time you get to the braking zone and everything's fine and everyone's fast. Because I'm still looking at that 3-car pack there with Patry, Witt, and White. Now just about 2 seconds behind this group. They were 3, so they picked up a little bit, but as time running out, and these front leaders, are they going to play nice and maybe put a pause on their antics until we get down to the last 2 laps? Let's got to see. Looks like they're kind of playing nicer now going into one than they have been.
Yeah, I got to wonder, how do you place your car when it gets down to it? As on the bottom, this is the battle for 13th. That's Molitor having to hold off Hinkle here. Xavier Sanchez, Heikki 360 back once again and putting himself in and amongst some of the best fights that we've had here. Haven't been able to cover the mid-pack nearly as much, but it has been frantic, I can tell you, as they go Noah's Ark down into the horseshoe. Molitor will be able to retain that top spot.
Yeah, and anywhere in this field, there's great racing going on. You can see it's still 3 wide coming around turn 2, heading toward NASCAR Bend. And NASCAR Bend looks like it does at every NASCAR event, and somebody's going off there at the back of the shot.
That was Keegan Scott. Oh, actually, unfortunately had an incident there, it looks like, with another car. Looks like Jim Brewster, unfortunately, involved in that one. Wheel to wheel, up through the climbing S's between Parrish and Ho. And it looks like Ho gets the advantage this time. Parrish falls back into second. Tulla watching. I think Thor in that number 10, that's going to be a dark horse right there. We haven't mentioned his name at the top of the group all that much here, Larry.
Yeah, I think he's got a pretty good chance here. He's just sort of biding his time because it looks like Ho and Parrish are doing a lot of the dicing, but Thor Tulla seems to be just kind of waiting for his opportunity. And what the drivers are doing is they're learning. They're almost taking mental notes. Who knows? Maybe even there's so much time they've got the pen and paper out too. But they're taking notes on the tendencies of each driver, where they can get side by side with someone, where they can't. And there's a bit of a contact there.
Molitor, that was our leader in that group that we were watching, and unfortunately that was all his own doing. Just put the wheels in the dirt and the car would not grip. Around he goes. But the front of that group is Sanchez now at this point, leading in 13th. Meanwhile, the battle for the lead is, well, actually for second place, really. Albert and Parrish going 2 wide down through the roller coaster. They're going to start yet another lap. Again, 2 minutes 20 just to get around here. So we're talking 4 or 5 laps. Oh, going wide. Parrish on the inside, and that was Albert who dipped his wheels in the grass this time.
Just a little bit, and it's given a little bit of breathing room to Alex Ho out in the lead. I don't know if that's going to be lived very long, but look at him, 3 wide, trying to sort this out with Tulla kind of leading down the inside in the prime position to make a good, clean braking here. But let's see if anybody gets daring and dives underneath. Not yet.
Tulla's going to hold on to that second place, trying to keep up with Alex Ho. Thor's got to drop the hammer now and see if he can gather him back up and drop these other guys. Parrish in behind him, slots into third, Short into fourth. Albert, they've got Megan Overstreet in there, and I think we can say that this second group has officially caught them.
They are in the game, 7/10 back from Overstreet to Witt, and now we have 9 cars within 3 seconds of the lead. Oh, it is game on, and I'm watching for Patry, Witt, and White to see who makes the first move of those 3 to give up on their teamwork of 3 and start playing in the middle of the 9.
Oh, man, this just got all the more frantic here at the very end. And those drivers have got to be pumping their fists knowing that, yes, we are back in it. It is possible to try and snag this win. If you are in that front group, you have a shot at the victory here for this first race of today in the iRacing SCCA Runoffs presented by SimLab as they come into the Oak Tree corner and off that double right-hander. Your order is Ho, Tulla, Parrish, Short, Albert, Overstreet, Witt, Patry, and White.
Well, let's keep our eyes on Tulla. Like we talked about, Tulla being son of a little bit more of the conservative one of this group. Now has his shot here to be the lead car, catching Alex Ho on this straightaway. He's going to have a chance to get alongside him. We'll see what he does, and does Alex respond to try and keep Tulla behind him. And then you got to see Parrish, who's getting the double draft. Does he make it 3 wide going to the top of the roller coaster, or does he start to become conservative? He's going to lay back and sit in third.
No.
Finally.
Oh, sorry, Nicholas Short and Overstreet Albert came together coming into the roller coaster. So there is 3 of our drivers. We just got 3, and now we lost 3 up at the front.
Oh, and that's it. Overstreet, she was just hanging back the whole time playing the conservative. Now she gets caught up in the Albert and Short contact. So those 3 drop back. Now we're back to 6, but Witt, Patry, and White are still now part of that 6.
Just like that, it can change at the drop of a hat. And apologies for breaking in there, but the battle for the lead just changing every moment.
I think we've got a replay here queued up of it. And you can see the middle of this pack right here coming under braking to the top of the roller coaster, and it's just a brake checkup point, and all 3 of them just get tangled, and they are not done. They're just a little bit too far back, but not enough time to make it up, as this top 6 now is a breakaway.
Down to 6 minutes left to go. Ho ahead of Parrish. Thor Tulla has been slotted back into third. I do think this 10 car has been biding his time and setting this up. What is he going to do on the last lap? Because I think he's the one that you need to watch out for. There you see him on screen in the dark-colored car with the pinstriping. If he gets it set up where he can time that slipstream on the last lap, he could have himself the victory snatched away from all these fast runners we've watched all race long as they climb through the S's once again. At the very back of it, Sam White looking like he's barely clinging, but I think he should be within range.
He's close. He wants to maintain range. Again, if you want to win this thing, you've got to be close. Now, my theory is on the last lap, when you start the last lap, you need to be in the top 4. I think when you come off Oak Tree on the last lap, probably in third, maybe second. If you're in the lead, you're pretty much a sitting duck on the last lap. Then this is where an opportunity where we see that. Now you've got this 4th place passing third, second, they'll start to go next to second. See who actually leads going down roller coaster. Is it going to be Tulla? Is it going to be Parrish? Who's going to have that lead? Because this will be an indication of what's going to happen when we're through this thing on the next time by.
So Caleb is going to get a little bit of a pull, but he's going to be wheel to wheel. Oh, and here's the problem. He's got a car to his right-hand side, and they went off to the right-hand side, those leaders, so he lost the slipstream briefly, and he's going to have to fight once again as Thor to his inside through the roller coaster eventually does not manage to get the throttle down. Alex Witt going to take advantage. He goes by Thor as well, and once again, if you don't like the order, wait a second, and it'll change.
It definitely will. Patry, though, knows he's worked so hard to get back up into this. This guy started doing some real-life racing. He's been really strong on the iRacing platform, does a lot of the SCCA racing there, a lot of Spec Ford stuff. I'm sure we'll see him again later. But here he's showing he wants this race. He's worked so hard to come back from about 5 seconds down. Now he might even have the lead going into 1 with 2 laps to go.
Once again, 2 by 2 as they fly into the horseshoe. Looks like Parrish with the inside has the advantage. And coming up to NASCAR Bend, it switches back. Caleb now on the inside into this left-hander. Ooh, car looks a little unsteady, though, as he tries to keep it on the black stuff. He will get the spot. Parrish shuts the door on Ho.
He is, and I'm still keeping our eyes on Tulla, who's been a little bit more the conservative one in this group. See what he can do now in that 4th spot. Again, I like the 3rd and 4th on this lap. I like 2nd or 3rd in the next lap. So let's watch for Ho and Tulla. Ho has led most of this race. If you recall, he's rarely been out of the top 2. Now down to 3rd. What's he going to do to respond? Does he feel the pressure to get the spot back? It looks like he's starting to be the aggressor here going through the climbing S's.
Parrish with a bit of a Pruitt fade there coming across, and that had Alex Ho having to lift off the throttle coming into the climbing S's. So watch out for that. Wonder if drivers are going to start to get more aggressive here, making moves like that, just kind of covering off their rivals. And again, should be the 1 to go signaled this time by. So this could be critical here, trying to position yourself on this run up Madison Avenue.
Yeah, this is where, again, I'm watching Tulla and Ho sitting in the 3rd and 4th spot. How far can they get? This is the indicator of what they'll be able to do in the next lap. Everybody wants to know, can you go from 3rd to 1st or even 4th to 1st? There's the 3rd. Can he get up there? It's going to be 3 wide. They're testing waters.
Yeah, and they had to give him space in the end. I thought maybe they were going to try and pinch him, but Alex manages to get through. Does he actually want to lead here, though? Will he be the sitting duck in the end as they come down through the roller coaster? Your order is Ho, Patry, Parrish, Tulloh, Witt, and White.
I've seen this before in V races like this. What you may find is the leader may at some point do an early check, deliberately give up the lead. He would be happy right now if Patry, Parrish, and Tulloh were to go right by him, because it looks like third spot, white flag flying, but it looks like third spot's where you want to be at Oak Tree. But we've got about 2 miles before we get there. What spot do you want to be in now? And when is somebody has to lead coming out of Oak Tree, right? So who is it going to be?
Ho leads. He wasn't lifting, but the others aren't really making that big of moves around the outside. I don't think they actually want it, but it looks like Patry is going to almost be forced to take it. He's now your new leader. And Parrish looking around the outside. He sits in third position. Is he in the catbird seat?
He might be. I'm telling you, right now, fourth would be great. You can get by third, perhaps, going through this short straight after you start the lower snake here. Maybe make a move. Let's watch. Ho wants to be patient. He'd love to be sitting here. He doesn't want the lead. Parrish loves his spot. But Patry's saying, come on, somebody make a run. He's going to let him go. Look at that. He's got no contest for this. Would love to let Ho have the lead. Parrish is going to get a run now with two in the front drafting. It looks like they've broken away a little bit from Witt behind them.
Just an update. Sam White, unfortunately, got spun as they were trying to bump draft a little bit behind, so it whittles down once again. It is now only 5 of them. Alex Witt, though, might be a little bit too far back. It seems he may have lost out. Parrish is now your leader. Ho lets him through, and who is going to lead at the end of this straight?
Well, Ho looked like he gave the point by there. Did not want this at all. Parrish had no choice to step in. Patry's in third. Did he get a good enough run, or does Tulloh have enough to go from fourth? Guaranteed we'll see a 3 wide here, because everybody wants the lead at the end of the straightaway.
Alex O moves himself around the outside. Parrish can do nothing about it. Patry is going to try and overtake him as well. Does he have enough? Are we looking at maybe 4 wide? No, there's just not enough track as they now look for the brakes coming into the roller coaster. Patry has the nose ahead. He has the inside, but he's going to make contact, and he gets spun off for the second time in this race. It is going to be Parrish who gets the lead back in the end anyways as they come down through the hog pen. He may have been in the undesired spot, but he kept it safer than everybody else as they fly to the line. It's not done yet. Alex Witt has come from the very back, and he's got a little bit of a slipstream as they come to the line. It's going to be just shy, or is it? It's going to be right at the line. Does he have it? Who is it going to be? It's going to be Parrish.
Wow, he did not want the lead going to Oak Tree, but with all the other circumstances, able to pull that off, be in the right place, the right time to take that lead. Unbelievable finish, side by side, for Parrish and Witt and Tulloh being on that podium. What a race.
16 thousandths of a second at the line. Alex Witt was so close to pulling the upset of the century for our first race of today in the iRacing SCCA Runoffs presented by SimLab. Wow. Oh my goodness, Kevin Parrish took the win. Tulloh managed third, as we're going to take a little bit of look, I think, at the replay of the finish. Look at this. Inches at the line.
Inches. Oh, yeah. That is just not much at all. That finish stripe was another 3 car lengths up, we might have had a different finish. That's how close it was. Unbelievable.
Wow. Okay, I got to catch my breath on that one. So, hopefully we'll be handing off here soon as we take a look at the results. Tulloh with an excellent podium. Nick Short, unfortunately, winding up 4th. He was one of those involved in that little incident there at the end. Patry, twice in the same corner, gets spun around. Unfortunate for him. I'm sure he'll be a little bit miffed about that one, as there is the rest of our top 10. Megan Overstreet coming back with a 7th place. Presley sneaking into that top 10. Didn't really get to cover him, but nice run for him to wind up there in that position. And from there, we see the remainder of the fields. And this is just a taste, as we got more cars that are going to be racing like that, Larry. I am so looking forward to today's events.
Oh, I'm out of breath, too. That's just unbelievable. I'm going to need more coffee here.